Hi, and welcome to the A Quilting Live podcast. I'm Chelsea Stratton from Chelsea Stratton Designs.
And I'm Sherry McConnell from A Quilting Live.
And this episode airs Monday, November 8th. And we have a very special guest, as you could probably see from the header on the video today. So excited about it. Someone heavily requested. But first, before we get into that interview, Mom is going to share the quilts for today.
Okay, yeah, it's my turn for quilts, and I'm definitely in the Christmas spirit here.
Oh, yeah.
We're taping this a little bit early, but actually last night I just found out that I'm going to have a big Christmas party at my house for our church, and I'm so excited. Just like I want to decorate now.
What?
So
I didn't know this.
Yeah, I haven't been able to tell you.
I know.
Yeah, so I'll tell you all about that later.
We have so much to talk about.
Yeah, so I'm ready to start decorating, even though it's, October still. But yeah.
Never too early.
A little too early. But on the wall is Potluck. This is a layer cake quilt, a pattern that I did several years ago with a Sweetwater fabric, and I remade it in this fun Christmas collection from a couple years ago. Just love this. And, you can see the little Dresdens, but you don't have to add those. This can be just a really simple beginner quilt if you don't add the Dresdens. And also you can add more Dresdens if you want. I've seen people do every other block with a Dresden.
So cute.
Just a favorite. Love that it just uses a layer cake even for all the Dresden pieces and everything.
Oh, that's so nice.
Yeah. So, and then on the table is my sweet quilt. This is a Happy Days pattern, but I remade it just in reds and greens from a variety of our collections for Christmas. And this is a favorite too. Just a fun way to use grandmother's flower garden blocks so that you don't have to sew them all together.
Yeah.
And then finally, Home for Christmas is on the table. And this is a wall hanging I did last year. Also, I believe right after I finished Sweet, I had scraps and I thought, I'm going to do a wall hanging. And so all of these fabrics are from Sherry and Chelsea collections as well. And it's just a great size to hang on the wall.
Yeah, I remember this because you really didn't have plans to make this.
I didn't.
I showed up to the house one day and you're like, you're not going to believe what I'm making right now.
Yeah.
And you were so excited about it. And everything was so tiny on it and cute and just, it's adorable.
I actually want to remake this in some other seasonal fabrics. I just haven't gotten around to it.
Yeah, why not? Yeah. Switch it out on the wall every season.
But yes, so we're going to jump into today's interview.
Yeah,
it's
a good one.
Kimberly Jolly from Fat Quarter Shop. Oh, thank you, Billy.
Thank you, Billy.
That was the perfect time to use that sound effect because we are so excited.
Yeah, we're that excited.
Yeah.
She's just such a wonderful person to talk to and just has such a history in the quilting world. And so it's
so
be cool.
Inspirational. One of the first online quilting people that I found years ago. So, okay. So now we'll jump right into the interview with Kimberly. Okay, everyone. Chelsea and I are here today with Kimberly Jolly.
Yay!
We are super excited to be with her. We've been kind of talking about this for a little bit now, and we know that many of you have also requested Kimberly to be a guest.
So many people requested.
Yeah. So hello, Kimberly.
Hi, Sherry and Chelsea. So glad you're having me. Thanks for the interview. Super excited.
Oh, yeah. We're excited. We wish it could be in person. I feel like the last place that Chelsea and I traveled together before everything went crazy in the world was to Fat Quarter Shop in December of 2019.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it feels like forever ago, but it really wasn't that long ago.
I know.
Yeah.
So we had so much fun. Those breakfast tacos are still in my memory. Okay, so we're just gonna, turn this basically over to you, and just want you to begin with just kind of a short background about yourself and what you did before Fat Quarter Shop and how you found quilting and
Turned it into a passion.
right.
Yeah, so I have always been super creative, but I went to college. I got my degree in accounting. I went to work for one of the big six accounting firms. And I've always loved to work a lot of hours. I'll say that. But then I was like, I'm not really sure that I want to do this. Like, I passed the CPA exam. I put all these hours into it, and I just thought, I don't know if I really want to do this. But I had a job. I actually loved my job. I just didn't know, like, going forward, if when I had kids, I thought, well, maybe I can just do something at home and then stay home with my kids, just do something small. Um, in between the time that I went to college and was working a lot of hours, I learned how to quilt. I had previously known how to crochet and cross stitch, and I just loved quilting. And in Austin, there was really not very many places to shop. And online wasn't like as big as it is now. And I remember shopping, and I loved Robin Pandoff. She was like the one designer that was out then, because back then it wasn't really so much designer based. And the store that I shopped at would have one fat quarter bundle and 10 bolts. So if I wanted that collection, I had to like rush on my lunch hour to the store to get the bundle. And there were no pre-cuts. It was just like Moda had fat quarter bundles, and that was it. And I had such a hard time for years and years, decide like what matched what. I had such a hard time with that. So it was like, if I didn't get the fat quarter bundle, then I wasn't going to be able to make a quilt, because the store only had 10 bolts,
Right.
if that. And so I kind of thought, well, there's this like, I need to like have a place where I can get fat quarter bundles. So I just started, and people sometimes say, why is it Fat Quarter Shop? Well, at the time I just sold fat quarter towers. That's it for years. And so, gradually Moda started doing other pre-cuts. And then a couple years in, I thought, oh, maybe I can buy bolts. Maybe I can figure that out. And then eventually, Kevin came into the business, and it became what it is today. But definitely at the time, I was thinking, oh, I'll just be a stay-at-home mom. And now I'm a work a lot and got a lot of kids and don't have any free time, but I love my life that I've created.
Oh, I just think it's so inspiring too. And, I feel like so many people, they don't really, they get into something and then it just grows and it becomes something. And that's what Fat Quarter Shop has done with your, just like you said, just wanting fat quarters. It just became.
Yeah, it's so fun. And it's so fun to see how the industry has totally changed, because, there used to be no designers. Now there's a cajillion designers. Now there's a cajillion pre-cuts, and it's so awesome because there's something for everyone. Where if you went back 20 years ago, it was so limited, and it was almost like if you didn't get it the first day, you weren't going to be able to get it. And so now it's nice because there's more availability. There's just so much to choose from.
Yeah. Yeah. And I feel like I found your Jolly Jabber blog really early on. And, we're in a small town too. So that was so great for me, because that was how I learned about stuff, was from your blog and your shop,
Oh, wow. I didn't know that.
Yeah. So just being in a rural area, and I couldn't always drive, an hour to Las Vegas to go to the quilt shop. And so I just feel like I know there's lots of people like me that live in rural areas all over the country who probably the same way, your shop was the first major presence online. So
yeah, and we try to give back. We try to be super positive. We try to, have a little bit of everything for everyone.
Yes,
so.
I think you're doing a great job. So what about, because I know on the weekend when you're not busy with your kids, you are quilting, aren't you?
Oh yeah, all the time. I'm always doing something.
Yeah. So, how do you think it? I don't know. How do you think it went from being just a hobby to like a passion. Have you thought about that or?
Yeah, I mean, I think I like loved it from the beginning
Uh-huh.
and just loved it. And I just felt like I want more, I want more, I want more. And so, I used to watch Simply Quilt and I was just trying to like absorb everything and learn everything and just get as much information as I could. And I still have that passion today. So I just feel like, once you start a quilt, you can't stop.
Right.
Yeah, creativity blooms for sure.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. Okay, so what about some of your favorite
Quilting blocks, techniques. We know you love to starch.
favorite
Oh,
tools?
yeah.
Anything in those categories?
So I love to starch. I use the Lisa Bonjean method where I soak my fabric, I let it dry. I love to use steam. I love to use creative grids rulers because I feel like I can be very accurate. I love to use like triangles on a roll to make half square triangles. I love the new clappers that came out. I know everyone says, oh, they didn't just come out, but they did just come out to the quilting world a couple of years ago, and that has really improved my piecing. I love to do fancy quilt backs where I can add a label in there or quilt blocks. I I love star blocks. I love anything super intricate. So anything like I love 6-inch quilt blocks. Love star blocks. I love blocks that I love quilts that are very samplerish and have a lot of movement and kind of like you do a free block of the month every year. And so I love that because I get to make a different block every month and space it out over the year. So, I mean, I just feel like I love everything quilting.
Yeah. What are some of the favorite quilts that you've made? And for those who are watching on YouTube, we will be putting pictures up of these on the screen. So, yeah, feel free to tell us about as many of your favorites as you want.
So, yeah, so I went back and I kind of thought about, what's new, what's old. And one of the favorite quilts that I made in the very, very beginning was from Joanna Figueroa fabric. The fabric was called Cinnamon Stars and the pattern was called O's, OHS. Now that's long out of print. But I have had that quilt, way before I had my kids. And I loved it because it was, when you look at the design, it can make either an X or an O. And it was the same block over and over. And those are the kind of quilts I used to love years ago, where, you just make the same block over and over and over. So I love that quilt and I love that I've had it before my kids. And, it's just we still use it. And so I love that. And I just love the softness of it from all the years of use. And then I try to think of something maybe a couple of years old, just to think of something a totally different style. And a couple of years ago, Moda came out with color cuts. And those were where they would mix a couple of different collections together and make a pre-cut. But then they made a pattern, and I think Lisa Alexander might have designed it, but it is this quilt that has lots of fabric collections, lots of blocks all over the place. So I love that because it was really challenging and it really pushed you because you did something different each time you worked on it. So I also love that quilt. And I love that it has so many patterns, and I leave it out most of the year because, in Texas, it's either summer or spring most of the time. There's not really a fall. There's not really a winter.
Right.
So it's one of those quilts that I can leave out like, a longer amount of time, and it's super big. So, a couple of my kids can snuggle under it. I love that one. And then I was trying to think of what is something I've made recently. And I love Socialite because with Socialite, it was it was a free series that we did at Fat Quarter Shop. It was challenging, and I always like something challenging, and it was available in 3 sizes. So I made the quilt 3 times. So I loved it that much that I made the quilt
Oh my
3
goodness.
times. But it was fun because it was a way to give back to our customers, a free pattern that they could use at any time. So I loved doing that. And then recently I thought, well, those are kind of hard. Let me think of something a little bit easier. So recently, we did a new video where I just was given a jelly roll, and my challenge was, what can you make with a jelly roll in a day? And I made this quilt. We ended up calling it the Jelly Roll Jackpot, but that was fun because I was able to start the jelly roll and just do something fun in an afternoon that, sometimes it's nice when you start a project to be able to know that, okay, I can start this and finish it in the same day. So I tried to bring a mix of all different levels of things to show, but it also shows a little bit of the progression of going all the way from very basic to very hard and then back to basic again. Because there's times where you really want to make something intricate, and then there's times you want to just be able to do something, maybe fast for a gift.
Yeah, I love that you're saying that because I feel like the same way, I mean, we want those creative challenges, those difficult blocks, but then, yeah, sometimes you just want something fast and simple and easy. And
Yeah, I feel like I feel like if you just do hard stuff, you're going to burn out.
yeah,
So sometimes I have to pull in those easy things, just to give me that like pump of confidence, I guess, to keep going.
yeah. I have to say the Socialites quilt, that's one of my favorite quilts that I did when Chelsea and I both did some blocks for that. And when I made my first block, I did the 9-inch size, and it was pretty early on. And then I started seeing people making the 3-inch blocks, and I totally started over and did the 3-inch blocks. And that was really good for me, I feel like. And now listening to you, I think maybe I'm going to go make it again with the 6-inch blocks. So
Yeah, and I did forget to say that designers designed those blocks for us, and we picked some fun designers to work with. I didn't design that one,
oh,
but yeah, it's just, and also like I feel like if you think about when you quilted 20 years ago, there weren't as many tools out there.
right.
So if I think about 20 years ago, I don't think I could have made a 3-inch quilt block because now I have better thread than I used to. I
Right.
use Arthur, which I didn't have that 20 years ago. I have seam-aligned glue, which is a new product. It's actually not a new product, but on my live streams, people kept asking, you need to try this Acorn Precision piecing glue. And I thought, oh, I don't need a new product. But then I thought, no, let me try it. And it has really made a difference. And then the clapper and the seam and the starch. And I feel like we can do so much more now because of the tools we have and the YouTube channels you can watch, the things you can learn from people on Facebook and a Facebook group. It's just so much, I don't know, it's so awesome that there's just so much more now than when I look back 20 years ago.
Oh, yeah. And I'm not sure I know what the clapper is. Is it a board that you press your seams on, or?
So the clapper is Riley Blake came out with it a couple of years ago, and it's a type of wood.
Okay.
And they just call it a clapper, and you put it, like when your seams are still hot, you put this piece of wood on top, and it really makes everything very, very flat. And
Oh,
you let the heat go away, and your block will be so much flatter. And it's been so much fun because so many women who watch me have their husbands make them one. It's a
Oh,
certain type
cool.
of wood, which I'm not really sure, and they'll pick a size, they'll make it different. And it's so awesome because I see them all the time, and they're like, oh, my husband made this for me. And I think it's awesome because it's like brings your husband's craft into what you're doing. So
right.
that's been a lot of fun.
Oh,
And I
wow.
guess it was originally made for tailors somehow in dressmaking or something like that.
Okay.
But of course, I don't know anything about dressmaking.
Yeah.
So I never heard of it until a couple of years ago.
Oh, I'm gonna have to get one and try it. So,
Yeah.
you guys probably sell them, right? Okay.
Yeah,
Will
yeah,
we?
we do. And
Okay.
there's several brands now.
Okay. Awesome. Yeah, and then also the glue you mentioned. I hadn't heard about that either. So,
So it's this glue, and it has it's it's clear and it has this tiny tip. And if you're mass doing corner squares, some people like to use the corner square ruler or the corner simple folded corner ruler
Right.
as like a shortcut. And I like to do the squares where you draw the line from corner to corner and sew on it. Well, with this glue, I've been using it for the part that eventually cuts off, and I put my pieces all on there and let it dry, and then I don't have to use pins.
Oh.
So it's just been something, and I think also it's just something fun and different. And I don't use it all the time. I just use it some of the time. But I think it just kind of adds a little variety to my sewing studio, I think.
Yeah, I think it's worth trying new ways just to see, I mean, if you like it better than another way.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And I love like how quilting has become so interactional, like you mentioned, through YouTube, through the Facebook groups where, and especially as people haven't gathered as much over the past couple of years, they can still share all of this information. And I know when we go through the comments on our YouTube, you find somebody asking a question, and before we can even get on there to answer it, somebody else has answered it for us. So, it's just so amazing how we can all learn from each other.
Yeah, and I also think that you guys at Fat Quarter Shop do such a good job with that, especially on your YouTube and involving everyone with the videos. And it really, really is helpful. A lot of people look forward to those, and it helps them, feel a little bit more confident in what they're doing.
Yeah, and I always tell all of my listeners, do whatever level you love. If you like simple quilts, just make simple quilts. If you want intricate quilts, do that. But I think the key to all of it is do what you like, and don't feel like because someone on YouTube is doing it a certain way, you have to do that, because I think that blocks our creativity and holds us back. So I love that there's so much out there to choose from that you can find your way with what you love.
I love that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love that. I think that's a great takeaway that I think so many people get so hung up on what everybody else is doing. And yeah, that is great advice, Kimberly. Thank you. Okay, so let's move on to maybe some things you want to give us a preview about coming soon from Fat Quarter Shop.
Well, so something I'm excited about, it's kind of the end of 2021, and every year in the last couple of years, I've decided to do a scrap quilt. And the first year I did it, I just did it for fun. And then everyone said, oh, but I want to do it too, and I want to make it. And so I thought, okay. So we just designed the quilt that I'm going to use for next year. And the scrappy quilt, what it is for me is every quilt I make in that year, anything that's left over, I will make 1 or 2 blocks. And then at the end of the year, I should have enough blocks to make an entire quilt. And sometimes I have enough even to put blocks on the back. So I'm personally just excited. We called next year's Brick House, which is, super fun. And
so
it's going to make me smile every time I say it. But it's just a free thing that people can join me, along. But I just think this year's design is cute, and I'm already like, oh, can I start a quilt for 2022 so I can make a block? But I'm a little early.
So is that available? Is that available now, or it'll be available in 2022?
And we'll come out with it at very beginning of 2022, and it'll be completely free.
Oh, fun.
That's so exciting. And I love that you're using the excess from other projects and other quilts to make something else. That's really cool.
Yeah, and it totally wasn't my idea. It was Jocelyn's idea. A lot of you guys know Jocelyn. She's from behind the scenes. I think it was her idea from the beginning, but it's a way to, in 10 years, when you look at that quilt, you see all the colors you used in that year. And so you can, if you made a quilt like that in 1974 and you look back, you would think, oh my gosh, that is so not trendy, right?
Yeah.
So I think it's so awesome, because I'm going to look back in 15 years and think, oh, your style was so bad.
Yeah, I feel like you'll have to put a label on the back of each one saying the year
Yeah.
that
Yes,
it was from.
yes, for sure.
Oh, fun. Well, I want
15 years from now, what was I thinking? Like,
Yes,
well, I want to do that now, so
well,
I'm
I
excited
know.
to see
I'm
that.
excited to see it too.
yeah, it's cute this year. And then we have the new charity event coming up, and so that is so exciting for Kevin and I to be able to give back. That was also Jocelyn's idea 9 years ago, and we try to raise $100,000 for Make a Wish every year. And then Kevin and I give 20,000, and Mark Dunn from Moda Fabric generously gives 10,000. And I always love that because it's a free pattern to everyone in the quilting and cross stitch community. There's both a quilt and a cross stitch. That free pattern exists forever. And we just ask for people to give a donation directly to Make a Wish so that we as a company, Fat Quarter Shop, can give back to the community in some way and also give back to our customers and give them a free pattern. And this year's quilt is so pretty. It is, I feel like it really appeals to all ages. And it's just such a pretty quilt. And I can't wait to make it because I haven't been able to make it yet. I'm going to make it on video every month. So I'm like, oh, can we hurry up with 2022 so I can make the blog?
And is this the one with Corey's fabric?
Yes, yes.
Okay, yes.
The fabric is called A Beautiful Day, and it's heart.
Yes.
It's such a
Yeah.
gorgeous collection.
That is a gorgeous quilt too. I've seen your previews of that. I'm definitely going to make that too.
Yeah, and Corey actually designed it for us.
Oh,
So
awesome.
That's so
Oh.
awesome too.
Oh, yeah. I love those. And I think people appreciate so much being able to get those free patterns. And I know I try to always, put that on my blog posts and link to and I always tell people like, make sure you get them. And because, that they're written so well, the diagrams, everything. So it's just a great service, I feel like, that you do for everyone. And I'm excited to make this one too. As soon as I saw it with the hearts and Corey's fabric, but I'll probably use our fabric for mine. So,
Oh yeah, totally. And that's what's great about it is on these groups on Facebook, our group is called Kimberly Stitch Squad, but so many people make it with different fabric. And it's so amazing to see. And these are hearts. So I'm thinking, some people really love purple. Someone every year does the purple quilt. And I'm thinking, okay, I can't wait to see the purple hearts and just seeing what other people do with it. Because for us, it is about creativity and seeing what other people do and uplifting them and supporting them. And so I'm very curious to see. And I bet somebody will make it monotone, like all red and white Bella, or there's this new collection called Beyond Bella. It would look so good and the rainbow of those colors. So hopefully somebody will do that so I can live vicariously through my idea.
I've seen that Beyond Bella, and it really is so cool. I love it.
oh, I haven't
Yes,
seen
I
that
love
yet.
the rainbow effect.
Yes.
Oh, fun. Yeah, I love that. I love what you said, like living vicariously, because, we can't make all the quilts. We can't make every quilt we want to make in every colorway. And what you said is so true, but other people can, and we can see them and appreciate what they've done. And yeah, I love that too. That's another great takeaway.
That's what's awesome about social media is it's just an endless amount of creativity that you can find.
Yeah, and I think, with social media, you can make it what you want it to be. You can make social media as positive as you want it to be. And I think that's what's great about social media is taking the positive aspects of it and sticking with that side of it.
Yes, for sure. Yeah. Yeah. Well, is there anything else that you want to share coming up or?
Yeah, we have a 2022 Jolly box. So we have some different holiday subscriptions, and I know that you always review them on your channel. And so this one I'm so excited about. I love the colors in this year's. That's the hint I'll give. And it's
Okay.
right when this comes out, the box should be just then coming out. So I can't wait for you to see it and
Oh.
to see what you think of it.
Oh, fun. You guys do such I always, I think I always say this when I'm filming. It's always so fun for me when I see the little card on top of the box to try to figure out what's inside before I open it. I just love that element of surprise. So,
Well, I always wonder, when people get their box, do they just like tear it open and like go through all the pieces, or do they go through the paper first? Or does it depend on what kind of mood they're in? That's what I always think.
yeah. Yeah, I think once I kind of try to guess, and then if I can't sometimes I get it right, sometimes I'm totally off. But yeah, then when I open it up, I pretty much just like tear right into it. So those are so much fun.
You have a lot of restraint, Mom.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Well, we just like appreciate this so much. This has been almost like being there, not quite, but this has been such a great conversation. We just appreciate it so much.
Thank you. And I wanted to offer to your customers from November 8th, November 17th, a 20% off coupon. And so that coupon is going to be for the Sherry and Chelsea pre-cuts and quilt kits that we have. And we still have some charity quilts from a couple of years ago. So the code is SC20. And if you've never ordered at Fat Quarter Shop, it would be a great time to get a discount.
Yeah.
Thank you. That's
Thank
so
you.
awesome. I think our listeners are really, really going to love that.
Yeah. And we'll put that up on the
probably
screen.
sell out of all your pre-cuts. And then
Yay!
everybody's going to say, where are they?
So yeah,
That's
is
great.
Thank you. Yeah. We'll put that up on the screen so they can write that down. So. Okay.
Yeah, well, thank you so much for having me. And, I hope I can see you guys soon. I hope at the spring quilt market we can finally see each other again.
Yes, it's looking like that is going to be a go, and we are so excited. So,
crossing our fingers.
Yeah.
Yes, I think everybody's crossing their fingers and at this point their toes.
Yes. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. So, thanks so much, Kimberly.
Thank you.
Okay, so I hope that everyone enjoyed that wonderful interview with Kimberly Jolly, and we are so appreciative of the code that she gave us. Billy will have that up on the screen, SC20, and that can be used on all of our pre-cuts and quilt kits from our collections that Fat Quarter Shop has, and that will run from today, November 8th, through November 17th. And we're just so appreciative to her for giving that out to our listeners. And so just a little teaser, maybe be on the lookout for another awesome, highly requested interview coming up in the next month or so. And our next podcast will air on Monday, November 22nd.
Thanks so much for stopping by.